Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cyclone InCYders. My name is Hawn, sports director here at ISUTV and avid Cyclone sports fan. Here at Cyclone InCYders, we discuss issues, we debate the ideas, most importantly, we analyze the footage. But before we get into what we really do here, let's introduce the panel. To my right here, we have Garrett Kroeger. Mr. Wonderful, Garrett, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Garrett Kroeger. I'm a junior in journalism. I'm not sure what else you guys want me to say, but I'm an avid Cyclone fan as well, and can't wait to talk sports with you, Hawn.
Thank you very much. All right, and then to my left, we have the all-knowing Ben Elliott. Ben, go ahead.
My name is Ben Elliott. As Hawn said, I'm excited to be back this semester, talk more Cyclone football with you guys, maybe throw it back and forth with Garrett a little bit, see who can win the day today.
I like that. Let's win the day. So, without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and start to talk about the Cyclone football team and all the changes we've seen so far. Yeah. Since we missed on the first 3 games, we haven't had a show yet. Let's kind of go back to the offseason and see where this new coaching staff really started. So, obviously, the biggest change here, new head coach Matt Campbell. First impressions, go ahead. What do we think?
Well, for me, last fall, I think it was Thanksgiving break is when we really figured out about this hire. I went to the K-State-Iowa State game. I saw the collapse. I knew Paul Rhodes was probably getting fired after that. After that happened, I dove into that coaching search. Yeah. I was just, dissecting every candidate. Who did I like the best? And towards the end of it, I was really starting to like this Matt Campbell guy. Mm-hmm. Then I watched the Toledo-Western Michigan game, and Toledo lost that game. And I went, I'm not so sure about this. Then they hired him. Looked more into his story and what kind of guy he is. Really fell in love with the way he, was ready to restart the program.
Definitely.
He knew what he was coming into. Decided it's going to be a culture change. He wasn't just going to change the product on the field. He was going to change the product in the locker room. He was going to change recruiting, how he does media. I think he's done a lot of great things this past year that will really benefit the Cyclones in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Originally out of Ohio, Campbell, he's made his rounds as an offensive coordinator, a very successful head coach, stint in Toledo, like you said. 4 bowl games in the first 4 years?
Yes.
Those are Paul Rhodes numbers. Garrett, do you miss Paul Rhodes?
Paul Rhodes was a nice guy.
I know you were all over the coaching change as well. You were following the whole circuit of potential candidates. What change did you want in a head coach? What were you looking for, first of all?
What was I looking for?
Yeah.
Paul Rhodes was just like that old school type coach. Yes, he was a great guy for Iowa State. He loved Iowa State.
He embraced it.
He had the passion for it. But as you saw over the years, the winning wasn't there. And that's what Iowa State fans are craving right now is wins. Mm-hmm. And after, we're going to get to it, but after the first loss to UNI, Matt Campbell said it's not acceptable for Iowa State fans to accept that losing anymore. They don't deserve it anymore. So that's what I was looking for. Matt Campbell is a winner. He's proven it at Toledo. Will it translate? It probably will translate in the future. So that's what he's
not only just Toledo, he was a winner at D3 football.
Right.
The 2 championship games that he witnessed as a player alone, he went to those championship games. He was a champion in high school. I know even as a coach, he obviously the bowl games that we talked about in Toledo, in Mount Union, he's a winner.
Yeah.
He's a proven winner. And along with that, Campbell brought in a new group of a new coaching staff with him. Who's made a difference so far? One of my favorite ones, Tom Manning, offensive coordinator. He's done a really good job, not only just in coordinating the offense, as a recruiter, fantastic job so far. What have you seen out of the new coaching staff, Garrett?
They're more embracive to the fans.
Yeah.
I'm used to all on social media. They get the fans hyped, and that's what you kind of need for Iowa State. Because why would you get hyped for a loser from past years? So they're getting people excited to go watch Iowa State football again. And that's what I like about the coaching staff. They make you want to go out to those games. Go watch this Iowa State team that has potential that everybody knows about. So that's what they're bringing here.
Yeah, in the opening game versus UNI, we had a record-setting attendance crowd there. Yeah. We did have the new horseshoe, but that filled up. The whole stadium filled up, and it's just great to see that new excitement come back. A storm's brewing. How do you feel about that?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Do you like the whole storm's brewing kind of persona of Iowa State right now?
I have fallen in love with Iowa State's media and culture push that they have going on now. I don't know how many other universities have coaches that are assistant, scouting directors and whatnot that are all must-follows on Twitter. These guys light up my Twitter feed every day, it seemed like this summer. New recruits, new hashtags, new behind-the-scenes videos, you name it. I felt like I was a part of this organization.
Definitely.
They brought a lot of fire and a lot of passion. Now we're just hoping they can bring the wins that come along with that.
Yeah, definitely. And then just another coordinator I'd like to point out, John Heacock.
Yes.
Defensive coordinator. He's done a really good job for a year. 32 years of coaching experience.
Wow.
32. Wow. And Tom Manning, he's kind of a younger guy.
Yep.
I was really excited to see that John Heacock was brought over from Toledo as well. Just that experience, and not only that, he has shown that he is a great defensive coordinator. Toledo, from the year he was playing, #1 ranked in scoring defense, number 2 ranked in rushing defense. I mean, that's just a defense that you don't want to go against, regardless if it's not Power 5 or whatever. But Tom Heacock, really good addition as well. So we talked about the new coaching changes. We talked about who's came in. Let's just go into week 1, home opener versus UNI. What were you guys' initial predictions in the game? I know we had a lot of hype, like we said, in the offseason. A whole Storms Brewing campaign. It really got me pumped. It really got me excited. So, opening the game, what did you expect to go in?
I expected it to be a close game. I think UNI sometimes gets undercredited with their talent and their coaching staff that they have. But I did expect the Cyclones to come out with a win that game. I think watching the game, a lot of things that you could notice, a lot of mental mistakes were made. A lot of turnovers, a lot of costly penalties. A lot of the turnovers that happened were on the wrong side of the field.
Yeah, and not only that, they were very, I guess, bad timing.
They
End
were
of the game
terrible
turnovers. Really, that's coming down to execution, and we didn't see too much at the end of the game. Garrett, initial prediction for this game?
Just like Ben, I saw this Gabby as a close win because UNI obviously has talent. They're one of the best teams in the FCS, and they've shown over the years that they can beat FBS opponents. But I did see Iowa State winning that game initially. But as Ben said, a lot of mental mistakes, a lot of missed tackles, a lot of interceptions, costly turnovers, which were stressed during the offseason. Like, that was the thing that they stressed on the most because they've done research, extensive research, that shows winning the turnover battle. I don't know why I cannot speak tonight, but is like the reason why they're going to win a game. So, like, obviously, as you mentioned, turnovers were very costly.
So listen to this. UNI rushed for 232 yards to ISU's 51. We'll go more into Aaron Bailey and what he kind of produced for the UNI. But what happened to Mike Warren? Going into last year, one of the top freshman rushers, over 1,300 yards on the season. Very good potential coming into this season. But what happened?
What happened was whenever he was able to break out for a long run, it was called back because of penalty.
Yeah.
Like holding, and like when he wasn't, like when there wasn't holding penalties, there was like no holes for him to run in. So that was the thing that cost him the most, was he wasn't really able to establish a flow in his running ability because, as you mentioned, his production wasn't great. He rushed for 30-some yards that game. And so not establishing his flow, not getting him going early, because he only had 6 carries in that game. That's pretty sad for a guy who came in with being all Big 12 running back.
You can see in the beginning of that game they did try to get him running early, and that's what I really wanted to see from that Iowa State team. But inevitably, when you're just getting stuffed at the line, when you're getting negative yardage, you needed to change something up, and that's when Joel Lanning came out, really kind of wanted to throw a little bit more. The coordinators wanted to get him rolling because Mike Warren's production just wasn't there. So Aaron Bailey rushed for 114 yards on 25 carries. When you see a quarterback escaping the pocket 25 times a game, you're going to get tired as a defense. What allowed UNI to have such an impact on the ground?
Yeah, well, one thing that me and Garrett were actually talking about before the show is the old Kansas State quarterback, Colin Klein, is the quarterback's coach at UNI now. And if you went back and watched 2012 K-State footage versus the footage of UNI this year, you're going to see the read option run about 40% of the time.
Yeah.
Aaron Bailey's an athlete. He's a guy, when he makes that read, and he made the correct read most of the nights, he was able to get away or hand it off for a big game for the running back that night. So when you have an athlete like that who's good at making those decisions, the defense really has to step up and make the plays. And unfortunately, most of the night, the defense for Iowa State didn't quite get those plays done.
Yeah, and the thing about that is, it didn't seem like a talent problem out there. I think we have the pieces on the defense, but what I saw out there was kind of a lack of depth for them. We have really good production. Mitchell Myers, obviously, one of ISU's most prominent players on that team, leader for that team. Amazing story. If you guys don't know, Mitchell Myers came back from
cancer.
What kind? Lymphoma. But just an amazing story from Mitchell Myers. And on the other end of that, Gabe Luna. They're really good productions, 4-year players. But after that, what do you see on the defense? You have a freshman starting coming in as a reserve on the right end, and then just not a lot of minutes, I guess confident minutes, coming from the rest of the squad. And that's just why if you see a quarterback running out of the pocket 25 times a game, your starters are going to get tired just chasing them, and who are you going to bring in?
As you mentioned, the depth issue, there was a lot of injuries sustained to that. Really Harvey got hurt. DeAndre Payne wasn't playing, and like a lot of the DBs got hurt that game. And so, as you mentioned, depth really hurt the defense that night.
Well, and another thing that hurts is when you do have those turnovers early in drives, in the wrong side of the field, you really leaving your defense out there to do a lot of work. A lot of work that they have to make up for, and they're getting tired. And towards the end of the game, that starts to falter a little bit when you really felt that all night.
Okay, so injuries aside, who stuck out to this game? Who did, I guess, give the game ball? Offense, defense, where's it go?
You obviously have to go Allen Lazard. Allen Lazard was the most consistent thing that night. He was showing out, like he was making catches that a lot of people were like eye-dropping. Like his one-handed touchdown grab was very beautiful.
Oh, I got a good shot. Yeah, Garrett was there.
Yeah, it was a very good shot by you. Like just the way that he was consistently producing and like catching the ball over the middle, not being afraid.
He was not.
So Allen Lazard got my game ball that night.
One person I really loved watching play, and it was great because we hadn't seen him really play yet, was Hakeem Butler.
Yes,
you want to talk about a touchdown catch. Hakeem Butler's catch was incredible.
It was.
He's 6'6", over 200 pounds, big receiving target. I'm excited to see his future and his growth throughout these next 4 years at Iowa State.
And by the way, that was his first ever catch.
First touchdown, and that's production. All right, so let's head on to Iowa, week 2, there in Kinnick Stadium. We gained more rushing yards on the game, something a positive to take, but our passing game, it just didn't execute. We saw Jacob Park for the first time this season.
Yes, we did.
Garrett likes to call him Jesus.
Well, he looks like it.
It's the hair.
Like the hair.
That's the hair. So, what do you guys think of Jacob Park's first appearance?
He has a heck of an arm. That throw to Allen Lazard was beautiful. Was very beautiful. Like I cannot say that enough. Like it got me excited. Not gonna lie, but
a little too excited.
Yeah, a little bit too excited. But he has definitely a heck of an arm. Obviously, he looked a little bit uncomfortable because that was his first ever collegiate minutes. Because if you don't know his story, he started at Georgia. He was a Elite 11 quarterback coming out of high school. Went to Georgia. Didn't fit the system well there. Transferred to community college in Oklahoma or something. I didn't have a football team, so he played in a church league.
Really?
So and then transferred here. Didn't start out. So you could see he was a little bit unsure of himself because it was his first minute. But he did show some positives out there. He made correct reads. He was doing the little pump fakes that you don't really see Joel make that much. So Jacob Park was very impressive against Iowa.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, Iowa with putting 42 points on the board, ISU just 3. I mean, you talked earlier during the UNI game about penalties. I think penalties were even more abundant in this game and even more costly. Is that really a discipline thing, or is I heard a lot of people, ISU fans, it's the ISU hating referees. I don't buy into it. I don't see any bias in those referees. Is it a discipline thing?
I think it's a bit of a discipline thing. And Matt Campbell had a great quote. He was very honest after the game. And
I love this quote as well.
We are not a good enough team to self-destruct.
Yep.
Which means, Iowa State, it does lack a little depth and it lacks a little talent to the point where they can't have costly penalties all game long like that.
Yeah.
And the penalties got worse as the night went on. And I think that also is just a little frustration.
Yeah.
Losing to your in-state rival, kind of in the third quarter, you knew that game was probably over. So I understand as a player that you might get frustrated, and when you get frustrated, getting a little lazy and not going all out. But it was sad to see when Jacob Park made a couple great throws downfield, and you had 2 illegal men downfield.
Yeah.
Kind of those are a penalty that's very costly, and that's something you need to be disciplined on. And I think Matt Campbell and the coaching staff have done a great job addressing that. I thought we saw improvement into the next week.
Yeah. And so overall, defensively, Iowa put up 42 points in the game. What did you see? Where did those 42 points come from?
42 points,
42.
42
That's
points.
a lot of points.
Some of those were missed coverages. I saw Kamari Katamoya, not to pick on him or anything, but on some of those touchdown passes, especially the one to I think it was LaShawn Daniels for a 29-yard touchdown pass or something like that on a real wire. He got confused. Obviously he didn't see him, and he got lost there. A lot of missed tackles out there by the Iowa State defense. They tried to do the little old highlight reel ESPN tackle where you try to put the shoulder into them instead of wrapping them up. So just the missed tackles was the most frustrating thing of that defense.
And give credit where credit's due. Beathard had a lot of great throws.
He really did.
Vandenberg had a lot of great catches.
Yeah.
I think those are one of the two more underrated duos in the nation. I know Iowa's based upon a good run game and a solid defense, but when you need them most, Beathard and Vandenberg, they can play. They can ball.
They can.
Yeah,
for sure.
And before we move into week 3, Iowa lost. Iowa lost to North Dakota State. Out of the top 25. Here at ICTV, I know I can cheer. Out there, if you're an Iowa fan, you can stop watching. I mean, we're just going to keep talking.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just kidding, but let's move on to week 3. ISU goes to Fort Worth to take on TCU, the Horned Frogs. I definitely saw some progress in this week, and definite progress before the week. But what improvements did you see in the game plan? Not necessarily execution, but in our game plan going into the game.
Like, what do you mean, like going like into the game?
What things did you see? Not I guess the players weren't out there. But I'm sorry.
One thing I loved about the game plan
that the coaches wanted to implement, not necessarily the.
Actually, I differ on that.
Really?
Well, let's just hear it out.
Okay.
I was a fan of the 2-quarterback system.
Okay.
I think you saw some efficiency from Jacob Park in the air that Joel Lanning struggles with sometimes, and I thought when Joel got a chance to get on the sideline and really, assess the situation, you saw a lot of successful drives led by him.
Catch his breath.
Catch his breath. Ended in touchdowns. I think it can get easy for any player, especially at the quarterback position, to get out there. You get behind a little bit. You get in your own head. I think it's good when you have a quarterback behind you that can step in, take a couple plays for you to really get a chance, catch your breath, look at the defense, assess what you need to do, get back in there and achieve your goal.
Yeah, I mean, Joel Lanning is more of the runner, and you definitely saw that during the game. I mean, the one rushing touchdown he had, he dropped the shoulder. He wanted to get in there, and that's something I really love to see out of Joel Lanning, just that perseverance. And he knew he was getting taken out of the game for some time, and he knew I have to come back, score a touchdown. Why not use the aspect of my game that I'm here better than I guess Jacob Park. I could run the ball better than Jacob Park, so he did.
The thing is, though, about that 2-quarterback system, don't get me wrong, I like it. I like seeing Park because I want to see what he can do. But the thing is, though, it disrupts the flow of the offense.
I agree.
Because Joel, as you said, led that touchdown drive. It was a very good drive by Joel. He was making passes, but then after that, he was taking out for Jacob Park. So why not keep Joel in to see if he can continue his overflowing, the flow of the offense. So that's the thing I'm looking for, because that's what they want in a quarterback is consistency. So if he leaves a touchdown drive, allow him to go out there again. If he doesn't, then put in Jacob Park again.
And not only that, it's the leadership. Your quarterback is the leader of your team. If you have 2 leaders, what are you going to do? Who are you going to listen to more? And I think that is just an issue that they will be addressing later on this season. They really do just want to see who will be stepping up. And right now, where is it at? Who is higher on the pendulum, the pedestal? I don't know.
I think you would have to go with Joel as of right now because he is the captain. Because they both haven't shown to separate themselves. Obviously, they have strengths that the other one doesn't. Obviously, as you mentioned, Joel's the better runner, while Jacob probably has the better arm than him. But they both haven't shown the consistency that they're striving for in that offense. So, but as of right now, you have to go with Joel, just mainly because he has been here longer. He knows the system a little bit better than Park. And also he's the captain.
Yeah. And I agree with Garrett here. I think Jacob Park does have the better arm, but I have a question here. Who has the better throws? Because I think those are 2 different things.
Okay.
A quarterback can have a really nice arm. If you want to go into, I guess, the NFL, Jay Cutler, very good arm.
That's true.
Bullet, terrible passer.
Yes.
Does not make right throws, does not make the right reads. So my question is, if Jacob Park's the better arm, who's the better throw? Who's the better passer, I guess?
I'm sticking with Jacob Park on this.
Okay.
Watching the UNI game, a lot of those big plays made by Allen Lazard and the receivers were plays made by the receivers. A lot of those balls were underthrown. I think there was a couple pass interference calls that could have been called against UNI on underthrown balls that weren't. I think when you watch Jacob Park deliver the ball, I think when he makes a pass, it's ending up in the right spot where the receiver can get it outside the defender's length. And I think you see Joel a lot of times when he's checking on his short passes, he misses those sometimes as well. And I think to be really successful and effective quarterback, especially in the Big 12, those are the passes you have to make.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you, Ben. It kind of showed in the TCU game. there was a route by Trevor Ryan, and Joel just obviously missed him. Like, he was standing wide open, Joel overthrew him. And that's a throw that you're supposed to make as a Big 12 quarterback. While Park, he was putting like the ball where the receivers can catch it, but obviously there's a lot of missed drops by the Iowa State receivers that game. So I agree with you, Ben. Park has the better passing skill out of the two quarterbacks.
Yeah. And with that passing game, you need to have receivers. So
That's
let's
right.
talk about Alan Lazard. Coming off a 6-catch game, I believe, versus UNI, and then the 7 off of Iowa,
And then
coming into 1 for 8 yards. I guess, what is it? Was it an off day? Was it the coverage? Was it the quarterback situation? Having the two quarterback system, was that kind of throwing off his flow, the consistency? What was it?
I think it was a couple factors.
Yeah.
One, Hakeem Butler didn't play. Like I said, he's a big body, a big target.
Someone you really got to take downfield with you.
Still injured from the eye. And then Dondre Daly got hurt in the first quarter. So if I'm the secondary coach,
I didn't really mind DeAndre Daly coming out. Let's be honest. He had some drops.
Well,
he did have some drops.
But then he redeemed himself.
The over the middle. I know exactly what you're talking about.
He's the
Great play.
most other experience.
Number 2 on the depth
So
chart.
if I'm a TCU secondary coach, I'm going, if Alan Lazard catches the ball, you're running sprints at practice.
Yeah.
Your job is to make sure he doesn't catch the ball.
They bracketed him all game over the top.
The receiving
underneath.
threats were dwindling. So you know it's going to be Mike Warren, Alan Lazard, or the quarterback making plays.
Yeah.
Then you try to make the other playmakers on the team make the plays. And if they're not, which they ended up not being able to, you win the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Because Matt Campbell said in his press conference on Monday that DeAndre Daly and Hakeem Butler being hurt definitely cost Allen. Did not really benefit Allen out there because the next wide receiver, I believe, was like Murdoch, the transfer from Illinois, and he hasn't been here for that long, so don't really know what he possesses. And also, they were blanketing him. He'd be double covered like out there, so that definitely hurt his chances to get the ball.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, TCU 41 points, Iowa State 20. Is there a player you want to point out here? I have one. I saw one that I really liked out there, and hopefully he can carry that on to San Jose State.
For like offense or just defense?
Either
one. Mike Warren, definitely. He definitely had his best game of the year.
95
yards.
Almost
and they
got to
also
100.
fed him a lot more too. That also benefited him, like 23 like carries. And you obviously need Mike Warren to go because you want to keep this as a balanced offense. Because Matt Campbell said you're not going to win a game this year if you're going to toss the ball around 60 times. So Mike Warren definitely impressed me that game.
Yeah, for me it has to be Pierre Aka, defensive lineman. He really got in the backfield, caused some troubles, and I think that's one thing Iowa State lacks. If it's not containment, then it's just getting to the quarterback. It's simply creating that pressure so the routes are thrown off, the timing is thrown off. It just creates the pressure. Pierre Aka did a really nice job. Had a couple of tackles for losses in the backfield. That's my player.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. I think Pierre Aka will be a storyline coming into this week, really trying to get to the San Jose State quarterback who's a good athlete and can make plays. So I think that'll be the storyline. I think the other storyline, of course, will be the quarterback controversy that we still have going.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that going in to San Jose State University versus Iowa State here at Jack Trice. San Jose State has a bad defense. They are not good. They like to score, but they don't want to play defense. Where do you see the Cyclones scoring? Through the air, on the ground? What's our game?
Oh, definitely on the ground. Because in their 2 losses this year, they've allowed over 200 yards rushing, and they allowed 305 yards against Tulsa. Tulsa, who's known as a passing team.
Yeah.
You allowed 305 yards against them. Like, obviously, feed Mike Warren, because Mike Warren's a preseason all Big 12. Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah.
So might as well feed him early and often, and then get the play action going.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a little bit of both. San Jose State is averaging 236 yards on the ground against them and 239 in the air still. So I think you're going to see some combinations. I think they're going to hand it out to Mike Warren until they start to stop him, and they're going to throw it deep to Alan Lazard.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, I don't know how we win this next weekend because this defense is exploitable. It's an exploitable team, and I think the coaches and I think the fan base are expecting a win this weekend. I think going into Big 12 play, fans are more realistic going against those teams. I think most fans who don't follow college football closely are expecting a win against San Jose State. And I think it's a justified assumption.
I agree. Although A lot of people out there had the same prediction for you and I.
That's right.
This one, let's hope is different. And before we head into the break in our prediction for the game, I'm going to hit you guys with some quick-fire questions. You haven't seen them, so let's just hear them. Does Mike Warren get his first 100-yard rushing game of the season? Go.
Yes.
For sure.
For sure. We got 2 yeses. Alan Lazard, 7 catches, more or less?
Oh, yes. Definitely.
More.
All right. Total points scored, 60, more or less?
Wait, combined?
Combined, total points.
No.
No?
Less.
Less. All right. I'd like to disagree. I think we're going to run it up. I think Iowa State, they find a groove. I think Toledo, they are a good offense.
Toledo.
San Jose State,
God.
man.
San Jose State, they are a good offense. So I'm going to go more on the 60 points.
No, less.
Who will and then who should have more minutes at quarterback?
Ooh, Joel Lanning. Like, I'm just going to stick with Joel.
Okay. I guess there's 2 questions. Who will have more minutes? Who should have more minutes?
Oh, Joel will probably have more minutes.
Yeah.
Because he's the captain and everything. But I would say Jacob.
Oh. All right.
I'm sticking with you. I'm excited for what I've seen from Jacob Park. I want him to get more time. Joel will get the more minutes. He's a captain. He's more familiar with the playbook. Unless things go wrong. If we're 2 quarters into play and there's been a turnover by Joel or turnover or 2, and it's a 1-possession game, I think you could see Jacob Park coming in there just to change things up. There's not as much tape on him against a team like San Jose State. See if he can take that raw kind of talent he has and exploit the team.
This is definitely a game that you should allow Jacob to play more minutes because it is against a lower competition team. Not like overly the greatest, but they're still good. But this is a game that you can probably ease him in more for playing time.
My question is, though, you said this is the bad defense that San Jose State has. If Joel Lanning's doing really well and he's leading that team, why would you want to take him out? Why would you want to not give him the comfortability in that offense when they're doing well, opposed to we saw the games, we were down 42-3, we were down 41-20. We saw the games where we were behind. What happens when we were ahead? Where can Joel Lanning, keep the consistent offense and keep him rolling when we're ahead?
Well, Campbell, he did originally want to play Jacob Park in the UNI game because he did expect Iowa State to win against UNI, but obviously that did not turn out to be because it was too close. But since he has been playing Park more lately, that might benefit Park playing in more tight, close games.
Yeah. Back to quick fire questions.
Okay.
Who has more passing yards, Iowa State or San Jose State?
San Jose State.
Yeah, San Jose State.
All right.
Quarterback and ball.
So the over/under, the line for this game is Iowa State by 7. Are you taking those odds?
I take the over.
I'm pushing. I'm going with the 7 points.
I would go over as well. I mean, I feel like a lot of points are going on. And
I don't expect a blowout, but I feel like they win comfortably. Not like.
What's comfortable? 14?
10 points.
Unfortunately, Iowa State has let me down a few times this year, especially when it comes to the line.
I'd say comfortable for Iowa State. It's a little different comfortable for other teams around the nation.
That's right.
Iowa State comfortable might be around 21 points. Let's be honest. All right.
That's not very nice.
So before we head in the break, just prediction for this game. If you're calling the game, you don't have to answer. Go ahead.
31-21 Iowa State.
28-21 Iowa State.
All right. I had to agree. I went 35-28.
Okay.
So that's the 60 right there.
There you go.
All right. Before we head in the break, or not before. So we'll have a break, and after the break, we'll have middle linebacker Kane Seeley joining us at the desk for an InCYde Access. Cyclone InCYders. Joining us at the desk now is middle linebacker extraordinaire for the Cyclones, Kane Seeley, as well as our KURE sports director and also our on-air executive, Taylor Mankle. Taylor, thank you for joining us. Kane especially, thank you for taking
Kane
time
a
out
lot
of your
more than me.
I was getting there. Kane especially for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're preparing for San Jose State. You got a lot of things to prepare for. So let's just make this quick. Matt Campbell, new head coach for you guys. You switched from Paul Rhodes for 3 years, 4 years, right? Red shirt. You had Paul Rhodes for 4 years. First off, talk a little about him. How was Paul Rhodes for a coach?
Paul Rhodes was great. Him compared to Campbell, I feel like Coach Rhodes is almost like a dad figure.
Yeah.
Just kind of more old school, things like that. And then with Campbell, I feel like he's obviously young. He's, almost like a, big brother. Or like something like that.
He's a bro.
He's a bro. But yeah, he's cool. He's a little more hip than Coach Rhodes. But at the same time, I like them both in different ways. But yeah, they're both great coaches.
What kind of music does Mike Campbell like to play? during your guys' workouts?
Campbell, during practice and workouts, it's all kind of random.
Yeah?
He has some hip in there. He's got some hip and hop, and he's got some rap and some. He likes country too. I think he's kind of all over the place.
That's all over the place, definitely. Defensive coordinator. Talk about him. What things has he implemented in this Cyclone defense that you really took to?
He's real big on turnovers.
Yeah.
Obviously, we haven't had great success yet on defense getting that. I think we just had one so far. We practice that every day. He's really big on pursuit, just flying to the football.
I can tell a lot of pursuit from you guys. One of the Damon Tucker, one of the bigger players on your team, great pursuit. I'm sure you practice with him every day, and you can see it. He has great speed, and he really has a nose for the ball. Likes to get there. I can see that from the defense, the pursuit.
For sure, yeah. We work on it. We do drills every day that we're just flying the football, not even worrying on specific X and O's, just certain time, just flying the football, getting there, speed as fast we can.
Yeah, I like that.
And going off that, Kane, I'd like to ask you, who is the most difficult person to tackle in practice?
Most difficult person to practice. If we're talking scout team, I would say Cliff Kwamenza. Ames native.
Yep, yeah, sure.
Quick, shifty. Honestly, I feel like he could probably be playing on offense, but I mean, he's tough to bring down. So yeah, I would say him.
I wouldn't doubt it. He's a quick guy.
Quick, yeah.
So going into some off-season training, what kind of things did you see differently this off-season? I know Matt Campbell. He's young. He's vibrant. He likes to do a few things differently. What kind of things did he implement in the off-season when he first got there that you saw could improve that team?
Yeah, for sure. Well, in the off season we do a lot with the head strength coach Rudy Wade, and he's a lot different than who we've had in the past. He's a younger guy, but he actually has a more old school approach.
Okay.
And when I say that, it's not exactly like scientific every single thing. He just kind of like raw weight, like you're a linebacker, you're hitting this weight and you're doing it, like no matter what. Like we do some things to failure. And things like that. So it's just tough, like hard nose. It's not real specific, microscopic, if you will, exercise and things like that. It's just kind of like conditioning. It's not as much like running form, just like tough, hard nose. So it's different.
Yeah.
Another thing with Campbell, he's emphasized a lot. I feel like we do a lot of actually like drills and like kind of on our own and film as well. In the past, we had that, but not as much as what Campbell has. So yeah, we do a lot more things on our own. Like team leadership, things like that. So, yeah.
And before we kind of talk about your teammates, Taylor, do you have any more questions about the coaching staff?
Well, I kind of have a question about just a day in the life, because as a student athlete, you are busy beyond belief. Obviously, you've got practices, you've got workouts, you've got film sessions. So walk us through a typical day in the life of an Iowa State football player.
Yeah, I'll just take you through today, my exact schedule. Let's see, I woke up at 7.
Bright and early.
Yeah, had class. Class 7 to 8.
Hear that? They do go to class, everybody. Football players do go to class.
I have proof. This guy is in my class. We have a meeting after this.
Exactly. So yeah, I had class 8 to 9:30.
Okay.
Went right to the football facility. Watched some extra film from about 9:45 to 10:45. Got ready for my lift, which was 11:15 till about 12:30. Left quick, let out my dog, and got a quick lunch. Came back for meetings at 1:50. Meetings, special teams, team meeting, and position meeting till about 3 o'clock. Practice roughly 3 to 5, 3 to 5:30, and then we have film again right after. As a team, quick, about 20 minutes, just watch a couple segments of practice. After that, I watched film again on my own till about 6:30, and then I got in the cold tub, and then I had dinner. So I was about out of there at about 7:30, and then went home, hung out a little bit, and now I'm here. So yeah, that's
a busy day.
That's a busy day.
Yeah.
Why did you agree to this?
The title town, because Perry, Iowa sticks together. If you don't know, Perry, Iowa native right here. Kane Seeley as well, Perry, Iowa native at Perry High School. Two-time wrestling champ. Can't say enough about his production in high school. Brought it here to Iowa State, and you can see he's producing here too. So let's talk more about your teammates. We talked about the coaching staff. Let's talk teammates. The freshmen and the newcomers, the JUCO transfers. Who so far has made an impact on this team?
I would say so far, I mean, we're going to see more from David Montgomery, running back. He can make some plays. He made a lot of great plays in camp. See more from him. The other running back, Kane, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name.
It's the rough one.
Yeah, so he had some productive kick returns last game.
Definitely.
He's probably the fastest guy on the team. So look for him in the future. And then defensively, I would say Bailey. I would say he's good. He had a sack, I think, UNI game. See more production from him in the future. Yeah. So, yeah, those guys stick out to me.
Yeah. And so, more about your teammates. Who really sticks out as a leader? I know you have your captains, Mitchell Myers, Joel Lanning. Who takes their own approach to leadership and really wants to see this team improve?
Yeah,
I'm always interested to hear kind of a player's take on what other players do to just help other teammates, and who better to hear firsthand than.
Yeah, for sure. Some not huge name guys, obviously that aren't captains or whatever. I would say Gabe Luna. He's always doing the right thing. He's always getting guys in, watching extra film, things like that. I would say Mike Johnson, safety. He does things right all the time academically, and always doing extra work, always studying. Offensively, I would say Nick Fett does a great job.
Right.
Offensive lineman. He's a big leader. He cares about Iowa State a lot, so he helps out the offense. So yeah, those are some names that really are good leaders. That aren't kind of exactly right in the spotlight all the time. So yeah.
And something else about the team. Let's get a little fun here. Give me a couple class clowns in the locker room.
Class clowns. I would say both of the Bailey twins, the two freshmen. Yeah, they're quite characters. Let's see, class clowns. I would also say Damon Tucker is quite the clown.
Okay.
I would say Joshua Thomas as well, other known as Doobie. Don't know why, but yeah, he's quite the clown as well. Let's see, who else do we have? Those guys are kind of the main guys that are.
How about the flip side of that? Who's like the most serious in the locker room?
Brick face, wants to get in,
throw the hammer down.
Yep, they're grit and grind.
I wish I had a list of the roster here. I would say Gabe Luna. He's pretty hard nosed, pretty pretty level headed, and he's for business. I can't think of anyone else on the top of my head right now.
That just means that you guys are playing for punch.
Yeah, for sure.
That's no big deal. Yeah. And you talked about the academics that you said, I don't know who you said earlier, but he's really focused. I think this whole team, the Iowa State team, really focused. They don't take academics lightly, and we have a lot of Big 12 academic all conferences. I think you being one of them included. So it's really good to see a team, not only focus on the grit and grind of practice and workouts, but also in the classroom.
Yeah, especially when we hear how busy one of Kane's days is, and still manages
7 a.m. class and
to get some good grades in there. That's incredible. That's incredible.
So we talked about your coaches, we talked about your teammates. Let's move on to the opponents. Coming up on more Big 12 play, we get to see next week we have San Jose State, but who's next week? Who we got on?
After that, you guys, where do you guys go? You play Baylor at home.
Baylor at home.
Yeah, at Jack Trice. Yep, that's
so what kind of things you've played for 4 years in the Big 12 conference? You know these opponents, but this year it kind of seems like the Big 12 is taking a little bit of a shift. We don't. The Big 12 conference doesn't have a top 15 team since the Big 12 was founded back in 1960 something. There isn't a powerhouse in the Big 12. People don't know who's going to really make it to the top, and a lot of people are saying that the Big 12 won't have a playoff team this year. Who do you really look forward to playing? I don't know if it's because kind of a rivalry, they're fun to play, but who are you looking forward to this year?
Really?
Maybe it's a revenge game for you.
Yeah. Really, I'm looking forward. I mean, really, we take one game at a time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think Texas, they've improved a lot. We did beat them last year, and they've kind of snuck away with two wins previous there. And also, their stadium is sick. It's like 100,000. Obviously, they've had great tradition there, so it's real fun playing at some place that's such tradition-rich. So
and Texas has really improved this year as well. Beating Notre Dame. I think they are the highest-ranked 12?
Well, not anymore. They just lost to Cal.
Okay, so it's back
just
to
over the
Oklahoma.
weekend. So I think right now, I mean, it might be Baylor because they're the only undefeated team left in the Big 12.
That would make sense.
And with that being said, what would you give a key to victory here coming up against San Jose State?
I would say turnovers.
Okay.
We can't give them any takeaways, and we got to create some on defense.
Sure.
I think the last game, TCU, where we had some improvement. I think it was 0-0, and then in the past, it wasn't it was not in our favor. So I would say the biggest thing is we got to create turnovers on defense and offense. We got to take care of the ball.
Yeah, definitely. Taylor, do you have any more questions for our esteemed guest here?
Oh, no, we're good. We're good. He's a busy guy. We've got a meeting after this for SpeechCom 312, so I'll talk to him plenty. You can ask him another one.
All right. Well, everyone out there joining us, thank you again for joining us for the season premiere of Cyclone InCYders. Join us next week on Tuesday. I'll have another panel of Inside Access analysts here. We'll talk more sports. Hopefully dive into not only football. Maybe I know we have a volleyball game at home on Sunday.
That's
Talk
right.
about
That's
that. We have some softball on Monday, so we'll dig into that. And thank you again to Kane Seeley for coming onto the show. Like you heard, he is a busy guy. We appreciate him coming, and we're all rooting for him on Saturday. Don't forget to stop by on Thursday when we'll have another edition of Newswatch at 8, as well as the season premiere, semester premiere of Aim Tonight with the new host, Laurel Feeks. And that's all I have for Cyclone InCYders. Thank you.